everyone? Tony D with another hot take. I guess this is another Super Tuesday fallout video. Much shorter one, but some of the fallout. I mean, Super Tuesday was just so unbelievable. People are still talking about it, and there's been some more fallout. I don't think I mentioned in the last video, but Mike Bloomberg finally wised up and got out. Good for him. Finally seeing the writing on the wall. Come on, doggy. You want to say hi? Come here. No. Anyhow, God, what a hilarious campaign he ran. I just love it that Mike Bloomberg ran and hardly got a single delegate. American Samoa? Yeah. Okay. I wish the guys who commented in my YouTube comments about Bloomberg would comment again and let me know what he thinks now that Bloomberg's out and got like almost no votes. I mean, he really wasn't a contender in my view. You know, if the field had been empty, you know, if it maybe if it was only Biden, he might have had a shot. But you know, with a field like that, not a chance. And quite frankly, he has so little charisma as a human being. He's so, I mean, he's so insanely wealthy and so rich. Like, how could he connect with people? He just doesn't. I mean, I'm sure there are billionaires who maybe came from humble beginnings or just, you know, they just make a point of doing that. Mike Bloomberg clearly has been living like a billionaire for years. And he's just lost it. Like, you know, not that he's crazy. He just lost his ability to connect with normal people. He just hasn't lived that way, you know, probably in 30, 40 years. You know, when he went for the food on that communal table, he forgot his manners. Because this is, I mean, if you're a billionaire, you got to be used to sitting at a fancy restaurant and having guys bring you amazing food, you know, just for you, and taking off the silver lid and having this amazing thing underneath. Or, you know, if your steak's a little too overcooked, sending it back and getting another steak. Like, this is the kind of world he lives in. Like, he doesn't live in a world where he has to eat over a table with pizza and coffee. I mean, it's just, you just don't have to do that if you're a billionaire. So why would you? You know, why would you take the bus if you're a billionaire? Why would you eat at a communal table if you're a billionaire? You just wouldn't do it. You would be living your great life. You would have whatever you wanted. And I know I would be eating like amazing food every day. So, you know, I'm sure I'd eat pizza still because I come from more humble beginnings, and I love pizza. God, I love pizza. But, you know, after a while, if I lived 20 years and had billions of dollars, I would start to get a little distant, and I would have forgotten what it was like not to have someone drive me, you know, around, like to drive myself around, because I'd probably, if I had $1 billion, I'd probably have a driver and a bodyguard and a personal assistant. And why wouldn't I have all those things? Because I got billions of dollars. I should. So, you know, I'm not making an excuse for Mike. I still think, despite the fact he's a billionaire, I mean, Donald Trump's a billionaire. He doesn't act like that. You know, obviously, if you're a rival, he'll step on your toes, but you know, and probably be a jerk to you. But Mike Bloomberg just seems like a jerk to everybody. So I, for one, am super glad he's out. And because of his lack of charisma, I don't think he's destined for any role in a future administration. Not that you'll see a Democratic one in the next few years. And then you got Bernie Sanders. Oh, wait, Elizabeth Warren, who also finally dropped out. I mean, how much more of the writing on the wall do you need? When you can't win your home state that you're a senator in, it's time to pack it in. You know, even Amy Klobuchar was angling to win her state, and probably would have if she stayed in, but you know, she got out at the right time. She made it. She cut a deal. She'll probably be part. Her and Buttigieg will probably be part of the administration. I think Elizabeth Warren, as other pundits have said, is probably angling for her own deal and playing Bernie Sanders against Biden for all the good it'll do her. You know, she's going to get something in the Biden administration. Now, some people say maybe VP. Maybe. I think that's kind of a long shot. I think Pete Buttigieg would be a better choice. They both check off a box in the marginalized group category for the Democrats, but there's no getting around that Biden's old and Warren is not that much younger. Yes, she's a woman and women live longer, but Buttigieg is a lot younger, and you know, he went for that sort of Obama-esque sort of look, and people, I think that would go well with Biden. He would be the guy I think Biden will pick, or would be the smartest pick. There's rumblings about Tulsi Gabbard. I kind of think that's a long shot, but I'd be surprised, pleasantly surprised, if Tulsi was chosen for VP. I don't see why he would do that, though, only because I guess, you know, and I know somebody who says, oh, no, it's going to be Kamala Harris, but I think Kamala Harris would be a terrible choice. But if you're absolutely determined to have a woman of color, I think Tulsi Gabbard would be the better choice, because Tulsi is infinitely more likable than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris not only has baggage, but people just don't like her. People like Tulsi. You know, she's fun. She had a good debate performance. She's not doing well in the polls at all and in the voting, but, you know, one can argue that the DNC hobbled her, and rightly so. She got hobbled in the debates. They cut to a commercial. You know, the DNC has no love for her. So that would be a great choice too. But because the DNC has no love for her, I think that is doubtful. And then, of course, the big choice for some people, they think Michelle Obama is going to be his VP pick. I cannot see it. I think it would be a poor choice. I think it would be total pandering. And I don't think Michelle has the experience. I think she was smart when months and months and months ago, if not a few years ago, she said, oh, no, I'm not running for office. She doesn't seem like she's angling or has a desire to run for office. She doesn't seem like she wants to be in politics. I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, like, if she doesn't at least go out and take a Senate seat or a representative seat, something, you know, I don't think, or governor, I mean, you know, those I think you could do with less experience, because if you're talking first lady to president, that to me is a big leap. If you're talking first lady to governor, you know, it's not that big a leap. You know, she was on the national stage. It would bring prestige to the state that she was governor, governess. Is it governess? Maybe it's governess. I don't know. But then, you know, she'd have to run on that record, whatever it would be, and if she did poorly, then, you know, that would hurt her in a presidential run. And you have to know that Biden's never going to make it to a second term. So, you know, I think he's probably going to run on as a one-termer just to get Trump out. And so it's going to be very crucial who he picks as VP. So he has to pick somebody who has political experience. So, yeah, I can't see it being Michelle. I can't see it being Kamala. I could see Elizabeth Warren, but my choice would be Buttigieg. Maybe even Amy Klobuchar, really. I mean, she's a senator, and she's not unlikable. She's not super likable. She's kind of cringy, but she's not unlikable. She seems to try. So she could be a choice too. and she's younger. She's younger than Warren, so. But maybe Biden wants to seal the deal, get the rest of the votes. I don't know. I don't think Warren has enough leverage to really push that hard. I don't know if Biden wants her. He might, the DNC might push him into it because maybe they think they'll get some of the woke people on board if Elizabeth Warren's in the mix. I don't think her fan base is very woke, despite the fact, of her supposed progressive credentials. I think it's mostly because they wanted Hillary and she's the next best thing. End of story. But you could sell them on the fact like, well, Elizabeth Warren does have experience and, she could be your next president if, after Biden's done and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. At this point, I barely care. All I do know is Bernie Sanders probably isn't even going to get the nomination at this point. That math was inevitable, Sanders fans, Bernie bros, whatever you want to call yourself, socialist, Marxist, Leninist, communist. 75% of your own party didn't want Bernie Sanders. They just didn't want him. They're not communists. They're not socialists. They don't care for your brand of ideology. You tried to sell it to them as democratic socialism, which it is not. And really, as I've said, democratic socialism is socialism light. Socialism is just communism light. It's all one step to the next. Because when a democratic socialist has a problem, how do they solve it? How do people solve problems? If I come to the democratic socialist and I say, hey, democratic socialist, I have a problem with my property and, they won't let me build an ice cream stand on my own property. Can you solve the problem? The democratic socialists are not going to say, no, we don't do that. That's your problem. Build it or don't build it. We don't care. Like, they can't say that. Democratic socialists go, yes, we can help. As long as you're hiring people of color, we'll help you get that ice cream stand built. But you're going to have to pay the many regulations of running an ice cream stand, and you're going to have a handicapped bathroom, and it's going to have to be unisex, and it's going to have a handicap ramp, and several parking spaces, 2 of which have to be handicap, and and the next thing you know, you're spending $2 million on trying to build an ice cream stand on your own property. If it goes downhill, the socialists will come by and go, don't worry, we will give you government grants so you can continue to serve the community. I think my Bernie's turning into Nixon. Oh. And of course, the communists will say, don't worry, comrade, we will run ice cream shop for you. And we will own the means of production, and we will pick who works there. And you will work there, and you will be guaranteed a job, and you will guaranteed ice cream, and guaranteed housing and everything. And then, of course, there'll be no ice cream, because everybody will be poor, and, maybe once a year, there'll be like 2 quarts of ice cream, and you'll dole it out, and there'll be a line around the block to get it, and then it'll all be gone in like a week. So, I know, communists, you have explanations of how it's much more complicated than that. I know, socialists, you're not really communist, and you have explanations of how it's way more complicated than that, and it's all really good, and those hundreds of millions of people who died under socialism and communism, well, they weren't under real socialism and real communism. I know, and Bernie's not really a socialist or a communist, even though he honeymooned in Soviet Union, and even though he's called himself a socialist for 70-odd years. Look, it's over. What you need to do is start your own party. Join the Democratic Socialists of America, Bernie bros. Don't do things halfway. If you thought the Democratic Party could be transformed, you thought wrong. They can't. And if you think, well, we're going to destroy them so we could take their place, they got way more money. And you haven't actually battled the people who you have been supporting you all this time. And they have been supporting Bernie because, you know, there's a lot of people in Hollywood that like Bernie. They like his policies. They like socialism. They live in California. Hello. You know, once that media that's giving you a pass, once that social media who is giving you a pass finally turns against you, and it is turning against you, you will finally understand why we need freedom of speech, why we need to make Twitter either obey the Constitution of the United States or not be covered under the rules of a platform where they can't be sued, even though they censor their platform. See, you can't censor people and then say, well, we're a platform and we don't censor people. That's contradictory. See, if you censor people, well, then you're acting as a publisher because you're choosing what to publish. But if you're a platform, you can't really choose what to publish. You just put the platform out there and let it run amok. Obviously, you have to remove the illegal things, but that's a very short list of things, and the political stuff is well beyond the realm of what's illegal. And the TOS, terms of service agreements on these platforms, have evolved to encompass all the things that are politically distasteful to people in Silicon Valley. And now you're going to be politically distasteful to Silicon Valley because once Bernie is out, it's time for them to all fall in line behind Biden, and then they're going to be gaming the system against you. So what you have to do is join the people who have been fighting for freedom of speech. And you have to hold that as a true principle. Because if you don't, then you'll be silenced. And since you're on the fringe, that'll be easy. So, hopefully, you finally got it. Other fallout, well, there's going to be another debate, believe it or not. And the rumor is it's going to be Bernie, Biden, and Tulsi Gabbard, because she technically qualifies. And without Elizabeth Warren on the stage, that could be insanely interesting. I will totally be live streaming that one. Got to figure out what it is. All right, that's it for me. See you next time.